What's up guys, it's Will back again, and today's review is Eraserhead. Eraserhead is a 1977 horror film that was written and directed by David Lynch and was first requested to me by Crackedup TV on my Blue Velvet review, which crazy enough is another David Lynch film, go figure. Okay, so Eraserhead primarily follows Henry, played by Jack Nance, who finds himself in an unfamiliar situation, and that situation is the out-of-wedlock impregnation of a woman named Mary X, played by Charlotte Stewart. Henry, now a father, begins dealing with some incredibly strange occurrences having to deal with his newborn baby and otherwise, and the rest of the film is spent watching Henry attempt to cope with his new reality and stay alive in the process. So this was definitely one of the most difficult plots to summarize because there's just too many crazy things happening at once that I just don't know where to start. I mean, what I described to you in that opening plot description is the basic premise for the film, but there's just so much shit in this movie that is so weird that I couldn't possibly explain it to you properly without you just seeing it for yourself. I do gotta give Crackedup TV some credit though, because you guys just constantly find ways to one-up each other. Someone requests a weird-ass movie, then the next person suggests an even weirder-ass movie, and it's like a never-ending cycle of exposing me to some really weird shit. I'm gonna be so messed up in the head when this is all over, so I just hope you guys can live with that. But in all seriousness though, this is easily one of the weirdest fucking movies that I've ever seen before. This is like the film you turn on when you're sitting down with your girlfriend or boyfriend, and you're like, let's find something really fucking weird to watch. I know, Eraserhead. Somehow though, I found myself very entertained because there's just an insane amount of peculiar imagery that continually roused my curiosity, because Eraserhead is a movie that is almost entirely told through the visuals. There are very few lines of dialogue in this entire film. I mean, most of the scenes barely even have characters speaking to one another. They're just reacting to their extremely unusual surroundings in even more unusual ways. And to be completely honest, I've only seen two David Lynch films, Eraserhead and Blue Velvet, and I prefer Eraserhead because although it's by no means traditional whatsoever, it kept my attention because I had to understand just what in the holy hell was happening in this movie. But the thing is, you never get any concrete answers. This film is very thought-provoking, partially because it's so ambiguous. You don't get answers because David Lynch clearly wanted this entire movie to be up to your personal interpretation. The imagery, often horrific but very well done, tells the story almost by itself. This could almost be a silent film because the dialogue doesn't actually offer that much to the story. You're going to be running in circles in your mind just trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And I think that worked pretty well in Eraserhead because the style and tone of the film never wavers. There's a consistently creepy and super experimental, almost nightmare-like style that's present throughout the vast majority of the film, and the super eerie score heightens the entire experience by making it that much more creepy and unusual. This will be your face the entire time, I kid you not. So obviously it should go without saying that this is definitely not a movie that everyone will enjoy. For one, it came out in 1977, so it's 40 years old. Two, it's super fucking creepy to a level that I've rarely seen before. And three, it's super ambiguous with minimal plot and characters. This is an experimental, artistic horror film that isn't going to give you the typical horror scare scenes that you've seen in like 2017. Although the tension and suspense is there, most of the horror present in Eraserhead is achieved through the horrific imagery designed to elicit certain feelings of uneasiness and most importantly shock. I think Eraserhead has a lot to say about the prospects of being a father. It just says those things in a really peculiar way. Instead of making the messages crystal clear for the viewer to grasp, the film elects to hit you with a lot of over-the-top, trippy imagery and lets you sort of connect the dots and figure out what it all means. Like I said, this isn't something that your average movie lover is going to enjoy. This is a film that will appeal to a small group of people that are looking for a creepy horror film first and foremost, but also one that has a lot to think about after the credits roll. Eraserhead is kind of a tricky movie to review because it's mostly pretty simplistic, but intentionally so. For me, while I was certainly entertained by the super inventive imagery this film offers, I did find myself sometimes wanting more. I found myself wanting to know more about Henry and more about Mary, and I guess that means there were times where I wanted this film to be more traditional. And it's not traditional by any means, but I think that maybe some hints of traditionalism would have helped me invest in these characters a little bit more and actually care what was was happening to them outside of the consistent shock I felt when exposed to their odd surroundings. I also found myself occasionally laughing at how over the top some of the scenes felt. This didn't happen very often, a few times, but there were a couple scenes that almost felt humorous. I'm honestly not sure whether David Lynch intended for them to be humorous or not, but I think that while they entertained me, they still detracted from my experience just a little bit. But overall, I really enjoyed Eraserhead, and it may be the weirdest request I've reviewed yet. I thought it had incredibly creepy and scary imagery, a fantastically eerie score, and some thought-provoking themes. I also felt the film occasionally lacked some needed traditionalism, and a few scenes felt a little silly. I'm still going to give Eraserhead an 8 out of 10, and recommend you give this one a watch, but only if you're really into horror and you're looking for something super weird to watch. So have you guys seen Eraserhead yet? What did you think of it? If not, let me know why not. And also let me know the weirdest movie you've ever seen. Eraserhead may be #1 for me, honestly. That's all for now though. This is WillFoxification signing off. See you in the next review.